This is a quick review of nouns and adjectives, as well as an introduction to neuter nouns. We have seen so far three types or three families of nouns. We call these families declensions. So we're going to review these declensions really briefly. There's one declension where the single subject ends in A. So this is the nominative singular, ends in A, and the singular direct object ends in AM. And this is what we call the first declension. So nouns that belong to this group include puella, wea, willa, those sort of things. Next, we have where the singular subject ends in US or R, and the singular direct object ends in UM. And these we say belong to the second declension. And we see such nouns as puer and puerum, and dominus and dominum. And then finally, we see nouns that end in a whole bunch of different things when they're singular nominatives, when they're subjects. Sometimes they end in R, sometimes they end in X, sometimes they end in, what else do we see? S, as well as a few other things. And then when they are direct objects, they end in EM when they're singular. And these are known as the third declension. And we have arbor, we have nox, we have conus. So those are three third declension nouns. So I'm going to introduce a new term, which is neuter nouns. So neuter nouns are not a new declension. They are a different type of noun that occur within the second and third declensions. They mostly belong to the second declension, but there are a few in the third as well. And neuter refers to gender. You'll remember that we saw masculine and feminine nouns before. Masculine nouns are in the second and third declensions, mostly. Most of the second declension and some of the third declension are masculine. And feminine, most of first declension nouns are feminine, as well as some third declension nouns. Neuter nouns are going to be, most of them we will find in the second declension, as well as some in the third. So you can see that gender doesn't really play that large of a role in what declension a noun is. Although you can draw some basic kind of lines between there. So we've learned about masculine and feminine before. Neuter nouns are the final gender. So that's the last gender that we need to learn about. So neuter nouns are fairly simple. They have most of the same endings as the other nouns in their declensions. So for instance, we said that neuter nouns are going to be in the second declension. So that's second neuter. That's second neuter. And also in the third declension. So that's third neuter. Versus third masculine feminine or second masculine. They share most of the same endings as the other nouns. So we'll just go over the other ones. This is the singular table. So we'll look at the singular endings, and we'll take a noun like wea here, which is our good first declension noun. Wea. In the genitive singular, it'll be weai. In the accusative singular, it'll be weam. And in the ablative singular, it'll be wea, with a long A there. Okay? So we don't even need to worry about a first declension neuter, because there aren't any. For second declension, masculine, we'll take a noun like dominus, master. That's a US there. Dominus. It's going to be in the genitive. Domini, with a long I there. In the accusative. Dominum. And in the ablative singular, domino, with a long O there. We're going to skip over the second neuter column for just a moment. Yes, let's skip that over. And let's go to the third masculine feminine. We'll take a look at arbor. In the genitive singular, it's arboris, is. In the accusative singular, it's arborem, em. And in the ablative singular, it's arbore, with an E there. Okay, so one of the things that we're going to see is that neuter nouns, the nominative, and the accusative forms in the singular are the same. So our noun that we'll look at is baculum. And you'll notice this already deviates from a second declension noun, a masculine noun, by the fact that it has an here instead of a US. That's the giveaway. It's still baculi, and then here it's back to baculum, so the same forms here. And then here it's, as we would expect, baculo. So some changes, but not huge changes. Here we can look at our noun nomen. Nomen mihi est. Still in the genitive, it's similar. It's nominis. Then here it goes back to nomen. So instead of being nomenem or something like that, it's just nomen again, and then nomine. It's an E down there. Kind of had to squeeze that in. All right. So take a second to copy that down onto the top part of your chart, and then we'll go on to the plural forms. So the plural forms, I'll just write the endings here for the singular ones. For the feminine and masculine ones. For feminine, we were looking at weia. It's going to be weai when it's nominative plural. Wearum when it's genitive plural. Weas when it's accusative plural. And wees, long is, when it's ablative plural. Going down with the second masculine, it's going to be domini when it's nominative plural. Dominorum when it's genitive plural. Dominos when it's accusative plural. And also dominis when it is ablative plural. And then we'll skip over to third masculine feminine. We had arbor. It's going to be arbores when it's nominative plural. Arborum when it's genitive plural. Arbores when it's accusative plural. And arboribus when it is ablative plural. So once again, the forms, when we're talking about the neuter, that you'll need to pay attention to are the nominative and accusative. In the other ones, it's essentially going to be the same ending. We're once again going to have, let's see, our noun was baculum. It is baculorum. And our noun here was nomen. It's nominum. Just like that. Same with the ablative plural. It would be baculis and nominibus. Still down there. The forms that are going to change are going to be these ones here. And they're all going to make the same change. They're all going to end in an A instead. So instead of having baculi, you're going to have bacula. And also, that form is going to go right down here. Bacula. Here, instead of having nomines, you're going to have, let me back that up. You're going to have nomina. And also here, nomina. That's Nomina. So, we can draw some conclusions. I'll let you take a quick second to copy that chart down. And we can draw some patterns that are happening here. So our first pattern is that in the singular neuter, and I'll abbreviate neuter with an N just like that. So singular neuter nouns have the same accusative form, so the same direct object form, as their nominative form, or as their subject form. And yes, in case you're worrying if that's going to get confusing, it will get confusing. Eventually you'll learn to pick up which nouns are neuter and make that assumption innately, but until then it'll take some time and it'll be a little confusing. So singular neuter nouns have the same accusative form as their nominative form, and so do plural neuter nouns. It's the same, but their nominative and accusative forms, so I'll say nom and accusative forms end in A. Just like that. So we saw bacula for nominative plural and accusative plural, and nomina for nominative plural and accusative plural. So to do a little bit of adjective review, because that's really one of the major reasons why gender is important. The gender of a noun is important when we use adjectives. So a noun must agree, or the adjective must agree with the noun that it's modifying in 3 ways. And the first of those ways is gender. So the adjective needs to show the same gender as the noun. It also needs to show the same number, which is whether it's singular or plural. And finally, it needs to show the same case. So if the noun is being used as a direct object in the accusative case, the adjective needs to be showing that same case. So that's why gender is really important for us when we're learning about nouns. Most of our adjectives that we've seen so far are called first and second declension adjectives because their endings match those of the first and second declensions in all the genders that they show. So when the noun is feminine, the adjective is going to have a feminine ending, which is going to be the A. So depending upon the case, the adjective will end like something in the first declension. When it's masculine, it'll have an ending like something in the second declension masculine. So us, e, and when it is neuter, when our noun is neuter, our adjective is going to look like a second declension neuter. So an example of this is our adjective bonus, which we list as bonus. So that's showing all those endings. That's showing this is the masculine ending, this is the feminine ending, and that's the neuter ending when in the nominative singular. So that's a real quick review of adjectives and neuter nouns. We'll have some practice with that, and then we'll see about moving forward. Thanks for watching.